Welcome to Everyday Theology, an ecumenical space for students to discuss matters of faith and theology.
I'm your host, Connor Grubbs.
And I am your co-host, Ryan Mock.
And I'm your co-host, Johnny Grubbs.
And I'm Mac.
Okay, guys, we have another topic to cover, and that would be something that occurred at the 2023 Super Bowl. He Gets Us. So there's this campaign going on, the He Gets Us campaign. They've poured lots and lots of money into doing a PR campaign for Jesus. So basically saying, you know, Jesus hasn't had very good PR because people don't like Christians because we've been kind of dumb and mean. So let's spend millions of dollars on making people like Jesus again with ads. That's the concept. They have billboards, they have had commercials, and the big thing that they were like, the biggest part of their campaign from the get-go was Jesus is going to be at the Super Bowl. And so they had two ads at the Super Bowl. Do we want to play them here?
Yeah,
let's watch
Do
it.
we want to?
We can do one. You want to do one or both?
I mean, they're both pretty short.
True.
If I could see the world through the eyes of a child, what a wonderful world this would be. There'd be no trouble.
So, you know, I mean,
Cute.
It was cute.
whatever. I mean,
I like that the us became a part of Jesus.
Jesus.
so
That wasn't
Jesus is
controversial.
among us. I don't think there's anything necessarily controversial about
Not
it.
in that one, no.
Why are some of them controversial?
The other one, I think, got more.
The whole thing. Well, I want to react to both before I get too far into it.
We'll get into the second one. I don't know,
Like,
guys.
Well, here, let me lead with this. Okay, I was listening to another podcast on this. Oh, it's playing. I was listening to another podcast about this, and they were talking about how they weren't sure that Jesus is the one we should be defending. Right. So, and I thought about this in my own life in ministry because I kind of thought that. I assumed, especially in student ministry with like teenagers, I'm like, I gotta help these kids understand that like Jesus is pretty cool, and they already kind of liked Jesus, is what I discovered more and more. You know, it's like it's not Jesus that they have a problem with; it's the hypocrisy, it's the, you know, it's all the other stuff that they have a problem with within the church. And I literally experienced this within the first 2 years of youth ministry. I'm like, Jesus is not the thing we have to like polish up. He like people. I'm not saying everybody. Obviously, some people have a problem with Jesus, but generally speaking, even those that are outside of the Christian faith are like they'll say that Jesus was a good teacher, or which I think is intellectually dishonest for a bunch of different reasons. But either way. To say that is to say he was just a good teacher and not the Son of God. I think you can't ride the fence on that. But for those who do, again, they like Jesus, right? So I really don't think I kind of agree with those podcasters that like it's been my experience in ministry is like we don't need to do Jesus is not the problem. Like, it might be a waste of resources.
Yeah, we didn't give Jesus bad PR. We gave ourselves bad PR.
Right, the Christian church has
right.
bad PR.
And for us to spend this much money, a lot of the criticism has been, you could have used this to feed homeless people or to like rectify some of the issues within your churches or to like, people are like, this kind of seems like a misuse of money, giving me a commercial for Jesus. I already know about Jesus. I just think that you stink. And sometimes they're right.
Yeah, so it would have been much better if it was like, we're sorry.
Now,
Commercial.
So we need a commercial where it's like, hey, we're pretty cool too.
YouTube apology video.
Yeah, it should have been
from all the Christians.
YouTube apology video.
So we
That'd be
will
pretty
watch the
epic,
second one because that one's come under controversy for other reasons that I do want to talk about, and then I want to kind of share my final conclusions on the whole thing, and we'll
Maybe I'm foolish, or maybe I'm blind, thinking I can see through this and see what's behind. Got no way to prove it, so maybe I'm lying. Take a look in the mirror, and what do you see? Do you see it clearer, or are you deceived in what you believe? 'Cause I'm only human after all. Oh, some people got the real problem. Some people out of love. Some people think
I like that one better than the first one.
Yeah, I think
I
that
do
one
too.
definitely packs a little bit more of a punch. This one was a lot more controversial, though, and here's why.
Probably.
So a lot of people were like upset because some of the images that it showed were like, people rioting about like COVID and stuff like that, and they're like, basically the criticism was they're making it seem like, oh, it's really not a big deal that people went around and coughed on everyone in the beginning of quarantine, and it's really not a big deal if you're racist and you go yell at people, like, because Jesus loves us all. I don't think that's a fair criticism, because I think the point was that Jesus loves everyone, even on
It
both
depends
sides.
on what lens you look at it through, and that's the key here. Because of where some of the money came from, because some of it came from like hyper conservatives who like would cough on people. Maybe not them particularly, but we're okay with like the anti-mask thing or whatever, right? So some of the money came from that. So when the left caught on to that, they were kind of like, well, if that's the perspective it's coming from, which that I don't know that that's the perspective it's coming from. That's where some of the money is coming from. But it's like, if that's the perspective it's coming from, then that's the angle that they watch it through. Does it make sense? Like, it's like they're watching it through that lens of, well, they're saying, hey, listen, Jesus loves all of us, and so you should love me even if I rip my mask off. But it's not. I think it's supposed to be universal. Like we should.
Right. If you watch the commercial at face value without any lenses, the commercial does not pick a side.
No.
The only side that the commercial picks is that Jesus loves everyone. So yeah, even when it showed the images of like lockdown protests and stuff, it wasn't saying one side was right or wrong. It was just saying just love everyone.
Which shows maybe another systemic issue, because that means that we have this pretty powerful. And I'm not saying we should be spending millions of dollars on this, but a pretty powerful video ad. And the first question everybody's asking is, whose side are they on anyway?
Right.
And that's the whole point of. It's part of the point of the ad is like,
Yeah.
but that's immediately what we jump to. We gotta
That is
find,
ironic.
Yeah.
We got to
right?
find out what side they're on so that we can criticize.
And
this.
they've claimed from the beginning that they don't take a side, but some people are very skeptical of that because of some of the people who funded it. It's like, well, this is obviously what side. And then the other thing that a lot of people were, like, Christians were critical of is like, well, they didn't share the gospel. Like, they just, like, it was kind of a commercial about, oh, be childlike. And, oh, we should love
Well, what's on the
people that we don't
website?
like. And that's the key question there is, like, what's on the website? So the website does have, like, a gospel explanation, and it does get a little bit more into Christianity. And you can also find, like, local churches and stuff like that. They have, like, this whole messaging thing.
Oh, that's good.
And some people have been critical of that too, because there have been people who have said, I'm LG. There's actually a couple of undercover conservative pastors who pretended to be gay people
I remember that.
and
my
messaged
goodness.
the He Gets Us campaign to see how they respond. Which I guess it's okay for pastors to lie if they're trying to expose a campaign. I don't know
Ends
exactly what
justify the
the
means.
ends justify the means in this scenario, but and the response was they were actually trying to plug them into LGBTQ plus affirming churches, and so a lot of conservatives are angry about that, it's an interesting. It's an interesting topic. I think they have. If you're really not going to take a side, then you will want to get somebody into any church that they feel comfortable going to. And the criteria has simply been that they teach the Bible and that they believe in the Trinity and that Jesus died on the cross.
Yeah, like core.
And there are some affirming churches that believe those things. Now, you may look at them and be like, well, you're not teaching the whole Bible and you're not a true Christian, blah, blah, blah. But I do think if they're really not going to take a side, they kind of have to do that. Now, whether them not taking a side is right or wrong, that's up for discussion. But that's been part of the controversy around this as well.
The fact that that's even a conversation, though, because some pastors pretended to be LGBTQ, is disturbing to me.
Yeah.
It's a little sus.
Yeah, it's a little weird. And then like and then revealed themselves to be who they were later, and were like, I gotcha,
Batman.
I'm Bible man.
Yeah, very odd. So, yeah, I mean, I think it could be a good thing for some people. Maybe it gets some people interested, and they find a good church, hopefully, to be plugged into, and not just a random one that's, you know, a little funky. I don't know, but at the end of the day, I think the concept, fundamentally, it's a flawed concept of trying to get people to like Jesus again.
Yeah, what most everybody does.
Yeah.
But I will say it did raise an interesting, like, discussion, at least, for not just us, but for, like, just people in general. Because, like, if you're watching that and you get really triggered or angry by, like, someone not wearing a mask or wearing a mask or whatever the case may be, and you have a hardened heart toward that person, that might be an area that you have to go, I need to soften in that regard.
Yeah, I know the message was great, and I do think that it could hit home with some people, you know,
Right.
to see their enemy on, you know, because it really showed everything.
Yeah,
you know,
all sides of things.
And then it was just like, Jesus loved the people we hate.
Right.
You should probably do that too. That's a good thing.
And that one almost targeted the Christians more than it targeted specifically just talking about Jesus. Like, the first one was just kind of cute, like, oh, Jesus loves us, be like a kid. But then this one targeted more the people that follow Christ and kind of the attitudes.
Yeah, and I think just people on opposite sides of even the political spectrum
Right.
or any debate, like just in general right now, there's a lot of division.
Right.
And it's just kind of saying, you know what? Jesus even loves people that you don't like, and maybe you have a good reason not to like him, but Jesus still loves them, and that's a true thing. So, any other thoughts in conclusion on the He Gets Us?
No.
Are they going to do more ads?
I don't think they're done. Yeah, I think they have a
Oh,
little
they're
bit
doing
more
more?
left.
Well,
to
and they
do.
were doing this before the Super Bowl. It's
Oh,
just like
okay.
they were
Right,
hyping
but the
it up
Super
to
Bowl
some-
was like
This
the
was the
big thing.
climax.
But it is supposed to end eventually. It's a
It's a
campaign,
limited-
you know, and they
Limited
had a
edition.
specific budget. They raised it, and now they're gonna wrap it up.
Because I haven't seen any billboards.
Yeah, they've been in like bigger cities.
Bigger cities.
I have seen commercials though, like before the Super Bowl that
Oh,
show
okay.
up on streaming and live TV as well now and again. And I remember the first time my wife and I saw one on TV, and we were like, "What happened?" And then we looked it up, and we're like, "Oh,
It was
this
a commercial for Jesus.
I think this is cool." And, yeah, so interesting.
Well, make good choices, everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
We'll see.
subscribe, comment. Ryan, why don't you? Why this is our last video of the day? Why don't you do the thing?
Yeah, I'll do
Wait.
the thing.
Do the thing.
Ya yeet.